deposit in Nigeria, whether under the ground, off the ground, within the continental shelves, or as part of the exclusive economic zones, is vested on the Nigerian states. So the Nigerian states is the sole ownership of these mineral deposits. And by that, to deal on it, you, whether as an individual or as a corporate body, you are required to get the requisite license to deal on this product. And from the appropriate authority, and there are authorities, that has been set up by the federal government to issue these licenses. What do I mean by that? This illegal dealing in petroleum products entails, dealing, either selling, either storing, either distributing, marketing, importing, or exporting any of these products, any of these petroleum products, without this required license. Automatically, you're dealing illegally in petroleum products. So that is what it entails when you say illegal dealing in petroleum products.
So how rampant is this crime in our present-day Nigeria?
Well, it is very rampant. It's very rampant, especially within the south-south region, of the country, within the Niger Delta axis, where most of these dealers, easily have access, because there you have the oil exploration companies and all that. So that is where it's most prevalent. And owing to the fact that people see it as a very fast means to acquire wealth, so when you illegally, move this product, you have, instant or steady buyers to this, who moves it either within or outside the country, to dispose on a very high price. So it's very, very rampant, especially within the south-south region of the country.
Okay, so what are the requirements needed to legally deal in petroleum products?
Yes, like I said, this requirement, like there are departments or agencies set up by the federal government to assess, and ascertain whether you are qualified to deal on these products. First thing, we have the Department of Petroleum Resources. I think recently there is a merger, and the Department of Petroleum Resources is saddled with this responsibility, to issue license, to interested corporate bodies, who want to deal on this product. And these licenses, it ranges, from the companies that are interested in oil exploration license, to those that are interested in importing or exporting, and also retail sellers like the filling station and this. They are in categories. But the fact is that whether you want to explore, whether you want to export, whether you want to distribute, to sell, to store, like all these depots, that store petroleum products for distribution, or whether you want to distribute, you must approach the Department of Petroleum Resources to assess and see if you are qualified to do that. With regards to the requirements, I must say that when it comes to corporate bodies, you understand, we must verify first, from the Corporate Affairs Commission, whether this company that is into this into this petroleum product dealing is registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. Then after that, it's now our duty to now transmit a letter to the department concerned, that is Department of Petroleum Resources concerned, to confirm whether the license, submitted by the defendant is genuine or not.
So what are the punishments for illegally dealing in petroleum products?
Yes. I think I'm not a lawyer, but I know we charges most of these illegal dealing cases under Petroleum Act and Miscellaneous Offences Act. And by Section 1, sub 17 of the Miscellaneous Offences Act 2004, the maximum punishment for someone or a corporate body found guilty of this offense is 1 year, life imprisonment, and also forfeiture of the means of conveyance. Means of conveyance, I mean here, it might be truck when it has to do with the upstream. It might be vessels, barges, or boats when it has to do with the downstream. Now, outside that, the NIMASA Establishment Act, that is the Nigerian Maritime and the Safety Management Administration Agency, also provides that the vessels, that is the downstream, at the downstream sector, the vessels and or boats, that plies our waterways, must be registered with them. So that is of the trucks that are suspected to be dealing on illegal product. They do arrest these trucks and they hand them over to the Commission for further investigation. Then the other side is the Nigerian Levy. The Nigerian Levy that are saddled with the responsibility to man our waterways, they do arrest vessels, a lot of vessels that are suspected to be conveying illegal products, and then hand over to EFCC for further investigation. So I think upon this handover, we progress to take samples, from those products and subject to authorized lab for analysis. And also EFCC, we have been having, a very good cordial working relationship, with the stakeholders, some of the stakeholders, the Army, the Navy, as well as the civil defense, in tackling this menace. My advice, to the entire Nigerians to seek for, especially the Niger Delta axis, the south-south, to seek for a legitimate means of livelihood, because this deposit is our commonwealth. It's to the benefit of all, It's not just for Niger Deltans, it's or the south-south, it's for the entire, Nigeria. And if allowed to be harnessed properly and the proper revenue generated, it will be applied, to construction of roads, with schools, provision of good waters, and other good things that will improve the living standard.
We all heard David Stanley Odi there, stressing the need for all Nigerians to be upright and be legit, and to also harness our potentials so as to have all necessary basic amenities and infrastructure to improve the living standards of Nigerians. Do the right thing, always. Investing your resources today for a better tomorrow is what everyone prays for. But as you do, the EFCC wants to sound this note of caution. Be careful whom you give your money to invest for you. This is a scam alert. Scammers are on the loose in every part of the country in these hard times. Every day, men and women are being defrauded by those they trust, who use all forms of devious means in the name of investment platforms. Be careful what type of investment scheme you subscribe to. And if you have fallen into the hands of any investment scammer or suspect anyone of involving in investment scam, please report to the EFCC immediately. And that's how we end today's episode of The Eagle. Do not forget, for matters relating to economic and financial crimes, please send an email to info@efcc.gov.ng. And to speak to our officers or our representatives, you can call 0809 3322 644 and follow us on all our social media platforms at Official EFCC. If you see fraud happening, use the EFCC mobile app, The Eagle Eye. Download the app, follow the steps, and report fraud on the go. You can also take pictures of corrupt practices and upload them. My name is Aisha Muhammad. I leave you with these parting words that says, make living your life with absolute integrity and kindness your first priority. Please do the right thing at all times. Goodbye. God bless Nigeria. Please stay safe, and don't forget to be kind to one another.
We want to talk about rights, there are obligations. I'm not saying that this government is a saint, it's very far from it. But there are things that we can do to make it better, and that's the challenge I'm throwing to you. You don't want to build this nation? I don't know where else you want to go. If I had a choice, I'll come back. When I stand outside and I hear what you have to say about this country that I know that I can die for as one, then I'm really sad, because you're young. You have education. You have tools. You have a huge future ahead of you. And you're condemning yourself before you started on that journey. So please don't do that. Please don't.
NTA Tuesday Live. Analytical, in-depth, educative, and interactive on national issues, accommodating all sides of opinions.
We as a people have understood that we have to fight corruption before it fights us back.
Poverty has a financial index, so it should be fought also with a financial weapon. Give it to the social investments program. It has been a very courageous battle.
Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Join us.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. App for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, government involvement, impact on Nigeria's external image and our national life in the sports parliament.
Hello, thanks for joining us. This is Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguale. President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned the renewed terrorist killings in Kaduna State, saying that the gruesome nature of recent incidents in Giwa local government area has made him particularly sad and that the killings are unacceptable. A statement from the presidency says bandits within the week have also killed citizens in Zangun Kataf, Chikung, Birnungwari, Igabi and Kauru local government areas of Kaduna State. President Buhari affirmed that security forces have turned the heat on the terrorists who are looting assets, burning homes and killing indiscriminately. He reiterated his directive to the security and intelligence chiefs to do everything they can to destroy the remnants of the terrorists in the country. The president also expressed the nation's condolences to the government of Kaduna State, the people of Zongwa Chiefdom, and the family of His Highness Nuhu Baturi, the Angwam Kaju, on his demise. He prayed for the repose of the souls of the deceased. Northern Governors Forum has commended operations of the Nigerian Armed Forces in the onslaught of terrorist groups in different parts of the country. A statement issued by the forum chairman and governor of Plateau State, Simon Bakola Long, appreciates Nigerian troops in dislodging enclaves of Boko Haram and bandits in northeast and northwest states of the country. Northern Governors Forum urged the Nigerian Armed Forces to sustain the onslaught against the violent criminals and commiserated with victims and relatives of the nefarious acts. A group of elder statesmen under the aegis of I Believe in Nigeria project has joined Nigerians to celebrate President Muhammadu Buhari as he clocked 79 years. The group enumerated Buhari's achievements so far and his enduring attributes of discipline and honesty. Salihu Guanara reports.
Celebrating the 79th birthday of President Muhammadu Buhari gave these eminent Nigerians an opportunity to highlight the role of the president in keeping Nigeria united as he prioritized infrastructural development as key in ensuring social security. Mike Oluwale, chairman I Believe in Nigeria project, and the former Inspector General of Police, Mike Okiru, said, despite the country's challenges, Nigeria remains great, developing exponentially in all ramifications. They urged all those in positions of authority to be vanguards of good governance in line with the government's development agenda.
Is to get the right people at the right place to make sure they do the right job. It cannot be everywhere in Nigeria, but putting the right people to make sure they do the right job and giving the feedback.
Yeah, my message to President that, Baba, keep it up. Nigerians are happy for you.
The event featured the launch of the magazine with the cover name, This is Nigeria, the symbolic cutting of a birthday cake, and the presentation of a portrait of the president. In Abuja, Salihu Guanara, NTA News.
The federal government is working assiduously to give a new lease of life through its sustainable strategic plan of return, resettlement and local integration of the internally displaced persons across the country. Federal Commissioner and National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, stated this commitment at the flag off of another round of food and household items distribution to IDPs in Niger State. Fatima Aliyu reports.
In furtherance to responding to the plight of the internally displaced persons in the country, the federal government flagged off another phase of distribution of food and other items to IDPs in Niger State to cushion the effects of hardship of the vulnerables. The palliative distributed includes rice, other varieties of grains and assorted foods, as well as household and kitchen items necessary for those at the camps. Representative of the Federal Commissioner, National Commission, Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons says the sustainable strategic plan of the federal government through collaborative efforts with other sister agencies is already yielding positive results. This is for the construction of 100 housing units each in Borno and Katsina states as a pilot scheme which will be replicated in the trouble zone states across the country.
The Commission is making effort across the country to resettle our persons of concern. We've handed over formally to the IDPs directly, and the camp manager is to oversee and make sure it's used judiciously.
We only have few food left. So coming of this National Refugees Commission with assistance today is something that I should be happy.
The items are expected to be distributed to other internally displaced persons camps in Niger State. Fatima Aliyu, NTA News.
Minister of State Environment Sharon Ikazo says the ministry is recovering crude from the spill at the Santa Barbara well in Nembe, Bayelsa State. Alongside remedial response at the site, the federal government, she threatened, will go tough on anyone found responsible for the spillage. Let's hear more from Onenge Fineface.
A long ride from Opunembe Basambri into the Santa Barbara, ending with an unsavory revelation: 2 wellheads and the remnant of crude that spilled into the Santa on November 5, 2021. The spill long contained more than 16,000 barrels of crude recovered. The site is now set for remediation.
Whatever was lost to the environment is certainly less than what was recovered. And the reason is simple. There were booms already put in place, and then this is a very calm water. If the water had been the turbulent type, recovery would be very minimal and a lot will escape. But this is a very calm water, so it was possible to boom and recover as much as possible.
But the environment bears the scar of pollution, and the federal government insists that justice must be done.
I'm very, very saddened that I have to find a way out of this situation, a permanent way out of it. Apart from such oil spills, we still have the issue of the artisanal refining, degrading the environment further. So all this has to end. We need to have more engagement, review our NOSRA law for stiffer penalties for everyone, not just the oil companies.
Joint investigation is ongoing, the outcome of which will determine how the pendulum of justice swings. In Membe Basangwe, Onengiye Fineface, NT News.
Understanding the true meaning of celebrating Christmas as that which brings good things, joy and salvation to mankind took center stage at the 2021 Festival of Praise. Vice President Professor Yemi Oshibajo was among special guests thrilled by national and international bands, choirs and artists. Let's hear the details from Joseph Ortson.
Delightful songs of praise and display of masterpiece of musical arts, with Walter Michael Volhet from Germany conducting. The unconcealing joy of the congregation is obvious as these flutists and trumpets take their act to other levels. Also, Joshua Selman is the guest speaker of the event. He centers his message on understanding the essence of Christmas.
That the joy is not in the arrival of a baby. The joy is in the fact that that baby is Savior.
For many, it is a spiritual upliftment and a show of advancement in Nigeria's musical industry.
It was like heaven come down on earth.
We experienced some people from Turkey, from Germany. It was awesome.
They've been practicing for nearly 6 months or so, and then bringing all these experts to have this kind of top-class performance. We would like to go, if not every state, maybe zones.
This is the 14th edition of the festival, and this year's theme is Glory to God in the Highest. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
A bit of education here as a way of rewarding staff dedication to duty and thank God for the end of another year. The Federal Ministry of Education organized the Carol of 9 Lessons to celebrate the Christmas season. Besides the heavenly rendition that created relaxation for staff, the sermon enjoined them to be godly in virtues and remain committed in the service of the nation.
As we move into the new year, our prayer is that love will radiate across this country, that we shall all see each other from every part of the country, from every denomination of faith as brothers and sisters, and that we shall all work collectively as a country to ensure that the lost days of our glory shall be restored.
We want us to be more committed and dedicated. I pray that the Lord will help every one of us to give in the best, because education is key to the existence and the transformation of Nigeria.
Let's turn to the judiciary. The Supreme Court has set aside the conviction of a senior advocate of Nigeria, Dr. Joseph Nwobike, SAN. He was sentenced to 1 month imprisonment by Lagos State High Court for perversion of justice in April 2019. However, the Justice Kayode Ariwola-led panel of Supreme Court justices upheld Nwobike's appeal against his conviction, ruling that the administration of criminal justice law of Lagos State did not clearly indicate what constitutes perversion of justice, neither does the EFCC, which prosecuted him, have such powers. The Federal High Court in Abuja has nullified Senator Andy Uba's participation in the November 6th governorship, Anambra State governorship election. Justice Inyang Eko of the Federal High Court judgment held that Andy Uba was never a candidate in the election, having emerged from an illegally conducted primary election by the All Progressives Congress. The court also held that the plaintiff, Judge Mogalu, succeeded in proving that the APC did not conduct a valid primary election from which Uba claimed to have emerged as the party's candidate. The court ordered INEC to delete Uba from its record as a candidate in the election.